I'm Eric.
I'm Elise, and we have 4 children.
Eric is 13. Ashley is 10. Luke and Lily are gonna be 4 next month. I work at Boston Logan Airport. A typical work week for me is about 70 hours.
I'm a stay-at-home mom. Our son Eric doesn't really care for school.
I'm not taking the test.
Don't take it. You don't have to go to high school.
All right, I won't go to high school.
He doesn't really socialize with us. He doesn't eat with us. He really doesn't like us, I don't think.
Look at this, look, this boy's 13 years old and he's isolating himself from the family.
That afternoon, young Eric did come home from school and I wasn't given the warmest of welcomes.
Hi, Eric. Hi, pleased to meet you. I'm Jo. Hi, how you doing? Good. Just come from school? How was it?
Young Eric is quite detached from the family. He'll amusing himself with little video games or listening to his music station, so he doesn't have to engage in conversation with his family. I asked Eric if I could talk to him privately, so we went downstairs into his bedroom.
So do you get time to hang out with your mum and dad, or not the done thing, ain't cool?
I don't really go upstairs that much.
Don't you? Really? You don't want to do it? Why?
I don't know, it's quiet down here.
So what about like your mum and dad? Do you get time to like hang out and do anything with them, or?
No, not really.
No. Do they do anything where you go out as a family?
Sometimes, not, I don't know, not really.
There certainly could be more communication between you and your mum and dad. Would you agree with that or not?
Yeah, yes.
Right.
Some of the stuff I don't feel comfortable talking to my mum about, my dad.
Right.
On my way up the stairwell from my conversation, I saw that he had 2 condoms in his room.
These yours?
What? Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Cool. And your mum and dad know about all that?
Yeah.
Finding condoms in a child who's 13 years old's bedroom, yeah, it's a shock. I'm going to need to talk to his mum and dad because I don't think they're going to be okay with this either. Dad came home from work shortly before dinner.
Hi, pleased to meet you, Jo.
Hi, Eric. Nice to meet you.
Eric, nice to meet you.
There really wasn't time for me to have this chat with Dad, like, hi, how you doing? I mean, I just took him straight down to little Eric's bedroom and I wanted to know what he thought about his son, who's 13 years old, with condoms in his bedroom.
And are you in a place where you feel that you can actually just sit and have a conversation with little Eric?
As long as it's not confrontational, you know, we're fine. We can talk about video games, sports, football, fantasy football, whatever it may be.
What about his puberty? Who spoke to him about sex education? Who spoke to him about responsibility in having sex?
I completely backed off. I never had to do it before, so...
So that for you was a bit daunting to have?
Yeah, he's grown up now. He's not a little kid anymore.
Is little Eric sexually active?
I don't know.
Right.
I would like to say no.
So would I assume that those belong to his friend?
He said they weren't his.
Right.
And I just left it at that.
I think Dad's being totally irresponsible. I know it can be difficult sometimes for parents to talk about sex with their teenagers, but at the end of the day, if he doesn't, little Eric could be in serious trouble. And by that I mean dealing with serious issues for the rest of his life. You have a son who's 13 years old, and I do want to talk about little Eric. There's no purpose of him feeling he can come and talk to you about things that he's going through as a teenager. I go down to his bedroom yesterday to talk to him, and I see 2 condoms. Emotionally, he's still a 13-year-old.
I don't know a way to get through to him, or a way to talk to him the right way.
What do you expect from me?
I think
To
most
me,
of
it
all, we
didn't
want you to
exist.
teach us how to teach them. I want them to have boundaries. I want them to feel loved. I want them to feel that we respect them, and I want them to respect us.
If I am to teach you, then you are to come into my classroom in your home to listen, to give me 100% commitment, to take direction, to follow through, and to not give up.
And we will.
See you bright and early.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, I can see why parents get a little bit apprehensive about having the sex talk with their kids. But at the end of the day, Dad's got no choice. So I gave him some tips to help him along the way, and now it's down to these two men to have a conversation.
I was nervous sitting down. It's a tough conversation to have. We don't communicate enough at all, and that has to change. You have issues in school, issues with your friends, girlfriends, whatever just come to me. Ask me.
I could see that within the conversation there was a lot of pause, and I know it was where Dad was revving up the courage to get on to the next topic. And I thought, this is not going to happen. So I grabbed young Eric's condoms.
I thought you boys might want to talk about that.
These yours?
Yeah, I guess.
Do you need them?
I guess not.
I think you're way too young.
As awkward as this conversation is going to be for Dad, it's absolutely vital that he have it, because he could stop little Eric from making some really bad choices.
Do you realize what the consequences are? Mm-hmm. What is a consequence,
I
Eric?
could get her pregnant. There's HIV. There's a bunch of diseases.
Yeah. It was an uncomfortable conversation, to say the least, but it was a relief. Now it's teaching him going forward. You get a girl pregnant, I mean, you got a lifetime commitment. Mentally, physically, financially. And this young?
The way Dad actually handled the conversation was impressive, because he was mature.
I'm glad we talked. You have any questions? Now you know you can come to me.
As much as the conversation may have felt awkward for Dad, I'm really glad that he had this conversation with Eric, because let's face it, I mean, if you can talk about sex, you can talk about most things, right? Mum had a few words to add to that conversation that I felt would really make a difference. Come here quickly, three of you.
I found out I was pregnant with Eric like 2 weeks before my 18th birthday. I was 17 when I found out. So it was hard. In all reality, you know the seriousness
Yeah,
of...
I know.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you know?
What do you know?
I can get a girl pregnant, and then I can get a bunch of diseases.
So I think he understands a little bit, but I think that he still thinks that the whole sex thing is just glorified with his friends and, you know, TV and everywhere. It's everywhere. And, you know, I tried to explain the best I could. And more importantly, when you do something like that with someone at your age, it's not going to be as special and unique as if you waited and did it when you were older.
With somebody you actually were in
Care
love
about. It was very important for us to have that talk. I guess I just keep seeing him as my little guy and, you know, not growing up.
I think it would be irresponsible for you to participate in sexual activity at your age.
with. We're too young to be grandparents, and you're way too young to be a father.
But I'm hoping that we're talking about it, you know, it's going to prevent him from doing that.